In 1951, John Wyndham published his successful novel, The Day of the Triffids, which was also recorded for the radio, made into a Hollywood film, and adapted several times for television series. The novel is about a plant called a triffid, which attacks and eats people. It's highly poisonous, grows very tall, and can move very fast. It also reproduces quickly, and so, in Wyndham's book, there were hundreds of thousands of them all over the world. The plants seemed evil because they realized where people were living and waited for them to leave their homes. Then they attacked. The Day of the Triffids was a bestseller, and in fact, it is still in print today. People love being afraid, and man-eating plants that attack by surprise are a frightening idea. We don't know whether John Wyndham used the real meat-eating plant, the Venus flytrap, as a model for his triffid. Originally it comes from a very small area, within a 60-mile radius of Wilmington, North Carolina, in the United States, although there is also a colony near Washington nowadays. The Venus flytrap catches insects and spiders, which are its main food, with a trap on its leaves. When its prey crawl along the leaves and touch a hair, the trap closes, but only if they touch a different hair in the next 20 seconds. This second touch mechanism is a useful safeguard for the plant against wasting energy, and means it can differentiate between its dinner and, for instance, falling rain. But if the insect comes into contact with a second hair within 20 seconds, the trap will shut with lightning speed. It takes only about 1/10 of a second. The edges of the leaves are covered with hairs, which close to prevent large prey from escaping. But the gaps between the hairs also allow small insects to get away, perhaps because digesting them would take more energy than the plant would get from the small bodies. If large prey moves inside the trap, the hairs close more tightly and digestion starts faster. The closed leaves become a kind of stomach where acids kill and start to digest the insect. This lasts about 10 days, and when the leaves open again, there is almost nothing left. The plant is then ready to catch more prey. If, on the other hand, the insect is so small that it can escape through the hairs, the leaves reopen in 12 hours. You probably think that the Venus flytrap must be a big plant with many strong branches, but it is actually quite small. The tallest is only 3 to 10 centimeters. It also takes the plant as long as 5 years to reach its full size, but it can live for 20 to 30 years. The most interesting question, of course, is why this plant evolved in the way it did. Most carnivorous plants choose their prey very carefully, according to the kind of trap they have. With the Venus flytrap, prey is limited to beetles, spiders, and other crawling insects. They probably came from another, earlier family of meat-eating plants called Drosera, which use a sticky trap instead of one that suddenly closes. We can't be sure about the Venus flytrap's family tree, though, because most fossils are from larger plants which have wood in them. The flytrap doesn't. Anyway, while Drosera catch smaller flying insects, flytraps are only interested in larger crawling ones, which usually walk over the plants instead of flying to them. Of course, larger insects are more likely to get free from sticky surfaces too. Carnivorous plants are found in areas where the soil is poor. Their carnivorous traps evolved to allow them to get the important food they could not take from the sandy, wet earth where they grew. According to research done in 1992, there are only 35,800 plants in their natural habitat. This suggests the plants might become extinct in the wild, perhaps because of their unusually violent means of getting their daily diet. Venus flytraps are popular plants in people's houses and gardens. In fact, there are about 5 million of them outside their natural habitat, even though it is not easy to grow them because they need conditions very similar to those in the wild. Home cultivation may therefore be the answer to worries about the plants becoming extinct. But it's worth remembering that John Wyndham's triffids also became a threat when they were grown for their valuable oils. It was only when farmers began to cultivate them on a large scale that they fought back.